Hi, this is Roger Smith of the True Blue Lounge, and today I have the pleasure of speaking to Dana Baugh. Dana is a 1998 graduate of the Manning School and the owner of BAUGHaus Design Pottery out of Smithfield, Westmoreland, Jamaica. Without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to Dana, but as always, I'm going to ask you to like, subscribe, send to a friend, make a comment. Even if the comment isn't a good one, make a comment. Big up, and I'll see you on the other side. Respect. Dana, thank you for allowing me the opportunity to have a chat with you. 1998 graduate, Manning School. Dana, what part of Savlamar area are you from?
I'm from the Smithfield area. I live in a community called Emerville,
Okay.
off Paradise Road. So in that Paradise Smithfield area.
And you always live there?
Well, I've lived a couple places from George's Plain to Phoenix Park to Emerville. I've lived in Emerville maybe three times, like when I was born. Then my parents moved to Hanover for a bit. Then they moved back to Emerville when I was like in prep school, and then we moved to we were in George's Plain, then Emerville. It was just all over, but finally settled in Emerville. But we've lived in Emerville about three times.
Where did you pass common entrance from?
Paradise Prep.
Okay, okay. I don't know anyone that went to Paradise Prep. I just knew that,
What?
no, I just knew that the road to Paradise was, in Westmoreland, was a pretty smooth road, that Paradise side, you know?
Really? It's
Yeah,
full
yeah,
of pothole now.
yeah.
Well, yeah. hmm
Cool, cool, cool. All right. So, do you know any teachers at Manning's that really encouraged you, that you remember, that you can say anything about?
Mrs. Monroe was a teacher that was very, encouraging. My sociology teacher, I can't remember if she was encouraging or I just liked her, but I remember my social studies and geography teacher, forget her name. Um, when I just got to Manning's, it wasn't a teacher that was very encouraging, but it was just like other like admin staff. So Mrs. McGee, because I knew her from church, like as a first former, being very timid and shy, and if I had any issues, I would go to her. Um, Miss Mello from the talk shop was also very nice. So there was admin staff, and I would say Miss Monroe stands out. Trying to think who else. Um, yeah, but pretty much most teachers were just, pretty
Cool.
decent, okay for the most part.
Do you remember your first form class?
Vaguely, I remember where it was. Was it One Brown? Listen, I have a terrible memory, but it was One Brown, and it was, on the way to where they did the agriculture sciences, that road that went um where they had the music class, and then
Okay.
there were and then it would be on that building that was on the way to where they did the I guess it's agricultural studies. It's that building. So I remember the class was there, but I don't remember um,
That was
much
that was
else
so
about it.
after my time. It's so
So,
after.
so you know where the accommodation was, where they
Yes.
had all those
Mm-hmm.
apartments. So there's like um so there's like all the new buildings now where you have
Mm-hmm.
the two-story buildings. There
Mm-hmm.
was like an older building that was like a one-story building, which I think was hit down and renovated and built over since then. I don't know. But when you pass that two-story building, there's like a road, a dirt road that would go towards the teachers' cottages. And before you got there, I think there was like a little farm area. So
Okay.
so our building was on the way to like where the teachers' cottages were and so forth. So that's where the class was.
Okay. We used to play cricket down there.
Okay.
That's how long ago it was. So
Okay.
tell me, if someone was taking you out for a meal, anywhere in the world, where would you want to go to eat, and what would you want to eat?
Ooh, I love food, so I'm pretty adventurous but picky at the same time. I don't know if that makes sense,
Mm-hmm.
but I like to try a lot of things. But if I were to, Jamaican cuisine tops it for me because I think that we have like one of the best flavor profiles like as a nation. Um, but I
You're
think
not
if I
biased
were
at
to
all,
just
are you?
I'm not biased, I don't think. I'm not biased. No.
Okay.
Because I love other foods as well. So like if somebody were to say, all right, I'm giving you an option of different types of cuisine, where would you go? I would choose Chinese or Japanese because there's a lot. I would choose Japanese probably over Chinese because the Japanese tend to perfect um they spend a lot of time in the details and they're very big on like just perfecting stuff and just
Mhm.
artisanal craft and I think they apply that to their food as well.
Right.
So I would say I would do Japanese and Chinese. I'm not a Mediterranean fan, but those would be the cuisines that I would lean towards. Um, because there's also so much that I don't know about um, their food, like off the beaten path stuff. We're not just talking like chow mein and fried rice and sushi. Like there's so much more that I would want to explore and um, discover.
So for Jamaica, you're an expensive date, relatively.
Not really. Like if I were to go out on a date, it just depends on the vibe. Like if we were just gonna go out and just grab a patty and sit down and chat, or if it just depends on the
Okay.
vibe.
Nice, you said that. So when looking for a, and I'm going to say when looking for because I don't know these things yet, so I'm asking. Um, when looking for a suitor, are you looking for a provider and protector, or are you looking for an equal?
A little bit of both.
3 o'clock in the morning, bad man, I kick down the door. What do you need in your life? Are you going to draw the
Well,
machete and go out the door, or you expect your your other half
more
to?
than likely, I would probably wake up first because I'm a light sleeper, but then I'll be telling you that there's something going on, and I'll be behind you. It's kind of what I would do.
Oh, well, so the man if you take the lick first, yeah, the first lick.
No, or I can draw for the gun and I can shoot too.
Okay, that's nice. Nice to know. Nice to know. Nice to know. Are you religious?
Spiritual.
Spiritual.
Hmm.
How does your spirituality help you in your day to day? And what made you make the differentiation between religion and spirituality?
A couple of things. I grew up in church. I'm Anglican. Um, but I I don't follow all of their doctrines or their the structure that they have in the religion. Even though I think there's a lot of value in some of the things that they do because it aligns with spirituality. And if you have a closer personal relationship with God, and I found that my personal growth kind of leads to me talking to God personally, praying, meditating, and not following are, what other people say I should do, but more so me having a deeper appreciation. So it started out as being religious, and then when life is lifing, you go through things in life, you end up having more of a relationship with God. So I do believe in God. And I believe Jesus Christ is the Savior, but or Messiah. But I feel like the relationship is more of a spiritual one. And there's just certain things that happen in life that I just it just falls into place. Like obviously something was happening to cause everything to fall in place, and things that happened 10, 15, 20 years ago is impacting me today. So, and many experiences, um, or even just as it relates to my work, the talent that I have, I don't, that didn't come from education or somebody telling me to do it. It was just like things happened that allowed me to be here.
Okay. Um,
Mhm.
and I've got two more questions just to ask you on this touch because I'm getting to know you. When we die, what do you think happens to us?
I don't know. Think of a spirit. I don't know. I'm still on the fence about reincarnation and where our soul goes and the whole rapture business of it. So I that's like above my pay grade, and to be honest, I just feel like you should live a good life and be a good person and have purpose. And so I think once you follow that, it really doesn't matter what happens after you die. If you come back, okay, that's God's business, you and God business. If your soul waits until God come, that's not any of my business. But I do feel like um people have souls. People do have souls. Yeah.
Okay. So you're one of the most creative people that I've spoken to. And coming from Jamaica also, it's very, I don't know anyone that, I know business people, but I don't know people that create art, pottery,
Mhm.
like you do.
Mhm.
Um, as I was saying earlier, we were told, get your book, put on the
Yeah.
guitar, you know,
Yes.
tappinize, get your book again.
Mhm.
And that was it. It was it.
Mhm.
Um, so how were you able to, be this creative person that can create such art so that you are in a situation wherein you can feed yourself from the joy that you get from doing these things?
Um, it's a very good question, and I think, like most persons, I wasn't encouraged really. Um, it's like I think I got here based on quiet rebellion and a need to figure out who I am and be true. Yeah, so while I was at Manning's, I started figuring out what I wanted to do, and I seriously figured out that like I knew I didn't want to work for someone. I also didn't want to follow the path of taking over my parents' business. I wanted to forge my own path. I didn't want to be known as this person's child. I wanted to be known for something I accomplished and something that was true to me and felt like me. And so I had no idea I would end up where I am. Um, but I knew I had some creative talents because there are certain things that happen along my journey creatively that allowed me to end up here. So my mother is a travel agent and she's been in the business over 40 years. Um, and because of that, I was able to get access to technology very early, like when Steve Jobs and Bill Gates came out with, the PC. She had one, and so I used that to start playing around with. I don't know if people remember a program called Paint. And I spent hours doing that. And then my older brother, downloaded a program called Adobe Photoshop. And I was in love because I could express myself and create things. And so I taught myself how to use Photoshop as a teenager. And I would make little bookmarks to sell, to do fundraising for Leo Club. Like there were all these artistic things I wanted to do, but I it wasn't encouraged as a career because most parents want their children to be a doctor or a lawyer or something like that. So I ended up choosing psychology um, as my when I was applying to UE for my bachelor's because of the subjects that I excelled at and I felt comfortable doing and I was interested in, and the way the mind worked was intriguing to me. And a lot of it had to do with self discovery and becoming more self aware at that time, when I was leaving fifth form, going into sixth form, trying to make those decisions. However, my younger years was filled with a lot of creative exploration because I had an older aunt who lived in Canada who would get me into t-shirt painting and glass etching, basket weaving. My dad bought me a calligraphy set and a little pottery kit when I was little. So I learned that and I did some other product design courses because I love product design really, not really interior design, but I love product design. And that wasn't a thing in Jamaica to be a product designer. And I came back, rejoined the company, and while I was there, it's so funny. I just told this story to one of my new hires this week. I was explaining to her about how things just all fall into place. Sometimes you don't even know. So when I came back, I joined the company as as a junior interior designer, and I said to my boss at the time, I wanted to start making lighting fixtures if they would be okay with me doing that, even though I was a, fully, and full-time employee. And she was like, okay, fine. I didn't think she took me seriously. I think she just thought that, whatever. But she said, no, it's fine. You can do it. It's not a problem as long as it doesn't interfere with your work hours. I said, not a problem. Would you believe that one of my first clients was actually Adam and Jill Stewart? They purchased my first after I made a few samples and stuff, and they saw it and they liked it. They purchased my first set of lighting fixtures for their home, and they purchased again when they built their second home. So they were like one of my first customers, even though I was working with them full time. They still supported it, and it was encouraging for me. So while I was at Sandals, I was pursuing this, you know, part time, like on the side, like on weekends,
Okay.
holidays, stuff like that. So I did that for a while. Like I took my vacation to go to shows, and I took, you know, like after I left work. And when I worked at Sandals, I didn't just do 9 to 5. Like I literally was working, like still working 10 to 12 hours every day, like
Wow.
literally not easing up.
You're
And
you're
so
hardworking.
yeah, I'm not afraid to work long hours, and I think that kind of set me up for what I am doing now because now I work nonstop because I actually like what I do. So I don't have a hobby because this brings me so much joy that I'm working, but I'm also enjoying what I'm doing. Um, so after I decided in 2016, yeah, 2016 to leave Sandals to do this full time. I I resigned. They were okay with it and they were fine with it and wished me all the best. And I'm here now. I've been doing this since, and I've just been growing a little by little,
Hmm.
reinvesting in my business. There's still a long way to go and a lot more development as a business owner and as a business, but it's been rewarding and fulfilling. I can't say that I regret any of these decisions. I can't, like we were talking about spirituality earlier, and I think that um, certain things like me having access to a computer and just learning graphic design, that helped me with my application to go to Parsons. And then that helps me in my business every day. Like I use it to create all my graphics and everything for my business, to do my social media. I did marketing while I was at university, and that helps me know in my business. So it's just like everything that I didn't know what I was doing it for. I was just doing it because I was interested and I
Your work, how do you blend your work? Because I see like breadfruit, and fruits from Jamaica in some of your pottery. What I want to know is that where does that influence come from? You're just looking around you and saying, "Hey, this is something really, really good."
pretty much,
Okay.
yeah, pretty much like um, so there are a few things that other cultures, when I went to design school, I learned about history of design, and there are a few things that other cultures do very well. And the way things are designed now, it's based off of those design histories. And I came back to Jamaica and I realized we did not really have a formal design language, or we don't celebrate our culture in a way that um, can be tangible and consumed in a tangible form. I also looked a lot at, and I was heavily influenced while I was doing my design degree on Japanese architecture and design and style and their love for ceramics. And so I realized when you go to eat food at a Japanese restaurant, you notice there's a little thing for the chopsticks or the soy sauce, or there is something specific to whatever you're eating, and they create things that are meant just to make life easier, and they're well designed and they're tastefully done. And I was just like, we need to do that here. We need to do that for our food culture. We need to do that for our heritage. We need to celebrate things that are Jamaican um, more. And especially, you know, we always, there was a time there when a lot of persons were taking Jamaican culture, exporting it. Like I think it was Tommy Hilfiger or Calvin Klein, and they, there was this, he had this collection with mesh marina and stuff like that. And all of these people have done it, that they've taken our culture and capitalized off of it. Some people might call it appropriation or whatever it may be, but I don't necessarily want to go there because globalization has made, everybody influence everybody nowadays. But I think that as Jamaicans, we should have ownership over our own stories and heritage and should be able to tell that. And as somebody that grew up in Westmoreland in a rural community where the creative industry is not here, it's in Kingston, and that's where everybody thinks that all the creativity happens. I just wanted to make sure that Jamaica was known for something else other than sea, sun, sand, Usain Bolt, Bob Marley, and jerk chicken.
What about the
So that's
ganja?
why that too.
Oh boy.
But I just really wanted to make sure that from a design perspective, that people know Haitian art and Cuban art. What's going on with Jamaica? And we are so creative.
Yes.
So what's going on? So I wanted to make sure that I throw my 2 cents in the pot.
How do you balance, form and function with your creative pieces? Because you've got some stuff that really looks nice to put on a
Hmm.
mantelpiece, but then you've got some nice looking chandeliers that have been showing up on the screen every now and again. How do you balance that? Because obviously you have to pay the bills. So how do you balance it all?
A lot of it is driven by customer demand, what the customers want, what they're asking for. And then, like you said, like sometimes I'll just be inspired. Oh, piece of clay. I'll just be inspired by. the breadfruit. I'm like, oh my God, this texture is really interesting. I should do more with that. Or I'll be like, oh, it'd be so cool if I could make a Christmas ornament from an ackee or a cocoa. Like, what would make really good ornaments? It's something that I don't see anywhere. And it just, my eyes are just drawn to certain um, shapes and textures and things that are steeped in memory, rooted in memory, growing up here. Certainly growing up in Westmoreland. So balancing form and function, having that influence of all of these, just nature and culture and the vibe of who we are, and being able, what I do, I typically apply that to something functional. So instead of me just saying, oh, I'm going to sculpt a breadfruit and put that on display in a museum, I'm like, oh, I'm going to sculpt a breadfruit and make it into a bowl that you can use every day, because we need beautiful things in our home, but we also need things that communicate who we are, that appeal to us and connect us as not only Jamaicans, but as Caribbean people. Because I went to Carifesta last year and everybody loved the breadfruit. They call it fig over there. Yeah. Everybody loved it because it resonated with them and their
What country
culture.
was
So
Carifesta?
in Barbados.
Okay, okay. Hmm.
So there are things that we may be different, but there's some things that, you know, we're still we still bond over, or we're just similar across the island. So I feel like what I do is not just for Jamaica, but also just for the Caribbean culture, and to spread that as well.
What's been the most challenging part about growing your business and design in Jamaica?
Mm.
Keeping your craft,
Bureaucracy.
keeping your craft the way you want it to. Bureaucracy. I hear that a lot with Jamaica, but continue.
Yeah. Yeah, there's also challenges with Jamaica. I am not going to be like airy fairy and be like, oh, it's so great and my journey has been so wonderful. Yeah, there are highs and lows. There are a lot of challenges with just how we are culturally, just finding staff, just operating on a day-to-day basis with everything taking so long and us not being like, I like to go online and do business as much as possible online. I'm a like tech junkie in that way. But a lot of organizations are not there yet, and we are in 2026. And so it makes it very difficult to do business as a pretty much a solopreneur. Like, I didn't have staff for about 3 going on 4 years. It was just me and my father, who is over 80. And so it's been challenging and a lot of long nights. And so you burn out. And that's not good, because you get tired and you're exhausted. And so your drive is no longer there. So it has been challenging getting the right support from a human resource standpoint. And then just the way the system is in Jamaica. I find that while there are opportunities for small manufacturers, the government's focus is not on this sector. Worse, I'm in a creative based business. So I have to be very creative, very dedicated, and very stubborn in what I'm doing in order to be where I am. And I still feel there's so much more I should be doing at this stage, but it is the reality of the situation.
So, for the peanut gallery who don't know who Borehouse Design Pottery is all about, what are you all about, and where do you want to be in 5 years with your business? What's the end goal?
So I'm Dana of Borehouse Design Studio, and we are designers and makers of handmade artisanal products for the home. such as porcelain dinnerware, lighting fixtures, and serveware, all inspired by Jamaica or culture or heritage or people. My mission is to spread the warmth and charm of the Caribbean to tables across the world. And so the goal and the vision is to keep growing until we have a large factory space and that Bauhaus is a recognizable brand, Caribbean based brand, locally and globally.
Wow, wow, wow. You know you should be on TV. Anybody ever tell you that?
I've heard it, but I don't think that's for me.
You've got that relaxed vibe about you, you know. So let me ask you this much. When you look when you I was gonna break out into proper dialect there a while ago, but I caught
No
myself.
problem.
When you look for people for work, how do you find? You see,
Hmm.
the fact that you're so creative, you know, you're gonna always find. You're never gonna find anyone that's gonna do something with the love that you have it because they are they're doing it to pay bills. You're doing it for the
Yes.
love. And I know Jamaica. How
And the
do you
craft.
how do you get someone that cares, or you go to man in school, you find someone, or you say I want to do a pottery seminar. How do you find kids that love it like you do? The young Danas.
I haven't I haven't been able to find that little sweet spot as yet to keep churning them through the system. Um, it's a challenge because one, there aren't structured art programs in our schools. Even Godfrey Stewart that has an art program with a kiln and everything, they don't funnel children into the ceramic arts. They teach them to paint and they teach them some graphic designing, but they don't. It's not like structured in a way to introduce them to this career and that this is a profitable career that they could be in. So it has been a challenge. I've gone through Heart, I've gone through Edna Manley, I've gone to the schools, I've tried reaching out to teachers, and I just really haven't had much success. The next phase for me is one of two things. My last attempt at recruiting local talent is to, like you suggested, to have regular training workshops and seminars and invite students to come, possibly partnering with Heart and the Ministry of Education to funnel some of those students through my training program. And
Hmm.
hopefully, one or two of them will stay because I don't only do ceramics, I do lighting fixtures. I want to eventually expand into glassware and metal utensils. So anybody that would work in my studio would not just only do ceramics, even though ceramics is such a versatile material. There is a lot more, and there's lighting fixtures, there's other types of home decor, and there's so much to explore in this sector, and there's so much space for people to develop um, their products outside of just working for me. So I think if I could offer some training courses, hopefully some persons stay, and then some persons, of course, will, naturally go about, doing their own personal projects. But that's my last attempt at trying to get persons funneled into the business.
Cool. Dana, I'm really, really honored that you took the time out to have a chat with me. I think I get to know about probably 60% of you or how you tick. As you saw, I didn't get too personal. I'll allow you that, But no, no, it was really,
Ah,
really, really fun having a chat with you. and finally getting you to commit to today. So I am
To
very
sit.
grateful. Okay.
No, thank you as well. I like to do these types of interviews from time to time. It's just that it's been so busy since Melissa, and not busy in a way that orders and stuff, just trying to get everything back together.
Right.
Um, so yeah, I do enjoy having conversations like this. I get to talk about the business, which aligns with where I want the brand to go. And then also it makes other persons, especially from Mannings and from Westmoreland, to understand what's or to be enlightened as to what is happening in the parish that's outside of the norm. So yeah, I'm also grateful that we get to meet up and have this conversation.
Cool. And lastly, are you
Yeah.
enjoying Steve McDonald's MS chat group, which is different from the stiffer chat group? You know, the MS Man in School chat group. That one. Are you enjoying that?
I'm I'm not in the other group.
Uh,
I've threatened to leave the MS chat group a couple of times because
why?
there's there's a lot, like sometimes I check in the group, there are like 500 messages in the group,
Oh, yeah. It's active.
and
Active.
it's active, but also I tend to be very opinionated and talk a lot. So I've had to train myself to not engage in every single conversation
We
because I
love
don't
it.
have
That's
the
what it's
time.
for. People like us.
No, that's too much. I can't manage it.
It's people like us. Hey, you imagine, you're at work and you're having a really hard day and you pick up that phone. Something's going to trigger you.
And I don't want to be triggered. Mental health
Can
is
you?
important.
Boy, I tell you, it's going to come out in the pottery, you see?
I
Oh,
but
boy.
that's it. I cannot stop to talk and have these long conversations because I have work to do. So
Okay,
I
okay.
can't stop and be like, okay, I'm gonna have this a 2 minute chat because it inevitably ends up into half an hour or somebody saying something that just upset your spirit. So I pick and choose and I jump in and I jump out because
Okay.
I cannot manage it. It's too
Well,
much.
okay. That's great. That's
But
great. Well,
it's a vivacious bunch though. So I
yes,
like
yes.
to read some of the comments and stuff. Yeah.
Yes, yes. And, sometimes things need to be spoken about. You know what I mean? We're all not the same, you know?
And it's good to see and hear other person's perspective.
Definitely, definitely.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna leave you. Make you go put two pot together. I'll make one breadfruit or a Julie mango into something. You know what I mean? Something creative. So thank you for very much
Yeah.
for spending the time with me. Thanks, Dana.
Great talking with you, Roger.
Cool,
See you in the
cool.
group.
Yes, yes, most definitely.